Consciousness is exactly what it is. It is fully conscious, full awareness, a state of highest awareness. Buddhatva is the equivalent of the consciousness. In that state, people try to reach, and several Atmas over the period of years have been able to reach to that highest state of consciousness, alertness, Buddhatva, whatever you call. And then they still have acted in the world. Their actions seem different, but they are all expression of the same consciousness. When we pay our attention to their actions, they may seem totally different. Mahavir became passive, Buddha became passive, Jesus became passive, Krishna remained aggressive in trying to fix the injustice of the society. When doers listen to Krishna, it becomes easy for them to accept Krishna or Krishna's message as the ultimate message, because it suits them well. So they pick the advice of Krishna to fix the injustice in this world. But just like all the other highest Atmas, it's very difficult to understand Krishna also. Reading Gita, digesting Gita is one thing, and then taking one message from Gita that destroy the injustice, then your actions are going to be different than if you go through the whole Gita itself, digest it, put it in your life, and go on the path suggested by Krishna. Krishna tells Arjuna to act in this world, destroy the injustice. But at the same time, Arjuna was shown the Virat Swarup of Krishna. Arjuna was an ordinary human being like us, but he did not have a prajna chakshu, the eyes which are needed to see God. He did not have it. And Krishna could not wait for him to develop that prajna chakshu to see Krishna. So he had to give the prajna chakshu to Arjuna to ultimately realize the final swarup of Krishna, which included devils, gods, humans, good, bad, ugly, saints, robbers, kings, soldiers. Everything was included within this infinite swarup of Krishna. This experience of the infinite consciousness is the samadhi state, which is beyond the thoughts and beliefs and ideas and whatnot. Once you realize this state, and then if you follow the actions of Krishna, suggested by Krishna, then your actions will have a purity. In the old days, wars used to be fought, unfortunately, with weapons, and actual people were killed. We, luckily, in the civilized society, we don't use physical violence and don't actually kill people. But we fight wars like Arjuna all the time. All our egos are always gonna be picking up a fight. Our beliefs, our ideas, these are all our weapons. And we look for other people to agree with our actions, are representations of soldiers and our rest of the army. And we devise a strategy and all those things. So, in a miniature form, at a subtle level, we all are in the war all the time. So we are not much different than Arjuna. Krishna's message says to see Krishna, the consciousness within yourself, crystallize your mind, crystallize your thoughts, and then act in this world. And the actions that should be performed to protect the dharma. And dharma is an interesting word. Dharma word comes from Sanskrit, adhar, dhar. Dhara is adhar, which is the central basis of everything. And dharma is something that cannot be changed. It is Sanatan. So in your life, your dharma is based on the things you cannot change. If you are a male, you have to be the best brother, best son, best father, best husband. Those are your basic dharmic duties. If you be a bad son or a bad father or a bad brother or a bad husband, you are creating anarchy in the society, and a lot of injustice will happen. And the fifth one is something you have chosen as your profession. That if you are a doctor or a dentist or an engineer, you take it to your heart and be the best possible of that. Just the way Arjuna was told to be the best archer, because the fate of the whole war was in his hands. Because of his power, he could turn the whole world, war around and bring the victory for the Pandavas. If you back off from your dharma, then also there is injustice. So we have to understand the intricate working of Gita. Now, Arjuna's problem was his cousins who were in front of him, and his guru who was in front of him. He did not have guts to destroy them. So, Krishna showed his full infinite Swarup and gave him the strength to carry out his duty, because people are destroyed and they'll be born again. There is nothing like death, but the justice should be established. And it was Arjuna's duty to carry out this job, because he was the only one cut out for that. Now, if in your life, if you have to defend any of these positions, then you are carrying out dharma. But before we act, we have to ask ourselves, is that what I'm doing? Am I fighting my own war or someone else's war? 2, the consciousness, the state of samadhi that we should have had before the action in the world, do we have that? Have we reached to the state of sthita prajna, where we cannot differentiate between friends or enemies. But we can differentiate between justice and injustice. So we fight the values instead of individual personalities. In the infinite sphere of the consciousness which you experience in a sthita-prajna state, if you differentiate between two different people, then you are not there. Then you have no right to be a doer. In fact, Krishna tells Arjuna that when you act, it's not you who is acting, it's me who is acting through you. So forget about your individual personality, individual ideas, individual thoughts, individual feelings, emotions, hatred, love. Forget about all individualized emotions, because that's your ego, and ego is false. Once you synchronize with me, I will be acting through you, and you will not be there anymore. So to differentiate between people, so your fight should be pure, your fight should be divine. So the question comes in, are we there yet? If we are not, then actions becomes dangerous and creates more adharma in the society. So it is very important to understand Krishna very well before we take the message of actions. Once you reach to the state of highest consciousness, everyone falls under the sphere of this infinite consciousness. You develop compassion, love, and karuna for all. Now, whether you bring out that karuna in the form of destroying their ego, it's well and good. Then in the outside world, your action will seem like Arjuna's actions. He destroyed the people who were meant to be destroyed. It's well and good. But are we doing with compassion? Are we doing with karuna and love for all? The love is the primary function and primary requirement behind every action. Even if you hurt someone, but if the hurting is meant well, with full of love and compassion, it is totally synchronizing with Krishna. So Krishna's message is practical for the people to stay where they are, have love for all, fight the injustice and not fight the people. But the requirement of behind all this thing is the sthita-prajna state. Even the wars can be fought in a sthita-prajna state. Every single second you have to be aware. You have to be fully conscious. With that clear mind and clear consciousness, you act. You will not be doing injustice, because at that point it is the Krishna who is fighting your battle, who is full of love, full of compassion, without any hatred, without any contempt for any one personality. It is very difficult to reach to this state, but it's not impossible. Go within, find your infinite state of consciousness, and then act in this world where ultimately you want everyone to be together. There is something like this. There is a world where everybody can mutually coexist. In that process, if we have to destroy egos and bring the injustice down, nothing wrong with it, but ultimate inner state of our mind should be synchronized with Krishna, which is full of love and compassion. Have a good day.